For 731 days, a lonely dog stood at the edge of an airport runway. Through violent storms, blistering heat, and freezing winters, he watched every plane that touched the ground, hoping for just one thing: that the person he loved would return. But what he didn't know was that the one he waited for had already chosen to leave him behind. And years later, when the truth finally surfaced, it shocked everyone. 2 years earlier, his name was Max. 5 years before that, Max had been found as a tiny, shivering puppy, alone in a ditch beside a rural road. Cold, weak, barely breathing. A man named Daniel spotted him, wrapped him in his jacket, and carried him home. He fed him, cleaned him, nursed him back into life. From that moment, Max made a silent promise. Daniel wasn't just his owner. Daniel was his world. Max followed him everywhere, to the park, to the store, to the bus stop. He slept by Daniel's shoes and celebrated wildly every time he returned home. Their favorite game was fetch with a small red toy Max carried everywhere. People used to laugh and say, "Daniel doesn't go anywhere without that dog." But behind the laughter, there was something Max couldn't see. Daniel was drowning, unpaid bills, rejected job applications, doors closing one after another. He felt trapped in a life that was falling apart, and he convinced himself that a new beginning, far away, was the only escape. One morning the phone rang, voice on phone. "Congratulations, you've been accepted. Training starts immediately. Pets are not allowed." Daniel froze. Max sat beside him, tail wagging, completely unaware that everything was about to change. Before sunrise a few days later, Daniel drove Max to the airport. He didn't pet him. He didn't say goodbye. He held the red toy and threw it across the fence. Max lit up, thinking it was playtime. He raced after it, tail high. But when he turned back, Daniel was gone. The engines roared. The plane began to move. Max panicked. He squeezed through a gap in the fence and sprinted straight onto the runway. Alarms blared. Security shouted. A pilot slammed the emergency brakes, stopping the plane just meters from Max. Max ran to a window, barking desperately at seat 14A, Daniel's seat. But Daniel turned his head away. The engines started again. The plane accelerated. Max chased it, paws burning on the hot tarmac, running with everything he had. But the plane lifted into the sky. And Max collapsed, watching it disappear. He didn't know the truth. He hadn't been left by accident. Daniel never planned to return. Security approached, but Max ran, not to escape, but to search. And he stayed, at the airport, waiting. Day 1 became day 10. 10 became 100. 100 became 1,000 hours of staring at the runway. Rain fell, snow came, summer burned, season after season. Max never left. Every time a plane landed, he sprinted toward arrivals, eyes shining with hope, scanning every face that stepped out. But Daniel never appeared. Airport staff began to recognize him. Some left food. Some patted him gently. Others whispered, "Why doesn't he just leave?" But Max only knew one thing. Daniel left through this airport, so Daniel would return through this airport. One afternoon, a thin, quiet 16-year-old boy sat near Max. Hours passed before he finally whispered, "You're waiting for someone, aren't you?" His name was Leo. He told Max his truth. 5 years earlier, his father had walked into this same airport and never returned. Leo used to wait here too, hoping he'd someday see him walking out of the gates again. 2 abandoned souls, 2 silent promises. and a bond began. Leo returned every day, bringing food, water, warmth, and company. But Max always faced the runway, still waiting. One day, a flight attendant snapped a photo of Max and shared his story online. Within days, the world knew about the dog who waits. Media vans arrived. Crowds gathered. Tourists flew in just to see him. Headlines read, "The Airport Guardian, the world's most loyal dog." Offers poured in. Homes, gifts, adoption papers. But Max ignored them all. Then, one afternoon, Max watched another dog being carried lovingly onto a plane in its owner's arms. Max lowered his head, turned from the runway, and walked away. For the first time in 731 days, he stopped waiting. He refused food. He stopped responding. His steps weakened, his eyes dulled, his hope faded. Then came the storm. Rain hammered the ground. Lightning split the sky. Max lay motionless in the freezing cold. Leo ran to him, drenched, sobbing, and covered Max with his jacket. In a breaking voice, he said to Max, "Even if he forgot you, I won't. I'm here." He stayed all night. At sunrise, Max opened his eyes, weak but alive. He lifted his head and nudged Leo's hand. For the first time in 2 years, Max chose someone else. Before we continue, if stories like this touch your heart, please like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes loyalty still matters. And tell us in the comments, if you were Max, how long would you wait? Just when the world believed Max had finally healed, a black car pulled up outside the airport. A man stepped out. Daniel. Crowds gasped. Cameras flashed. But Daniel wasn't here because he missed Max. He was here because the world was watching, and public pressure forced him to return. What no one knew was that months earlier, Daniel had secretly come back. He saw Max waiting. He saw him starving. He saw him suffering, and he walked away again. He never planned to return until the cameras demanded it. Daniel knelt down and called, "Max, come." Max froze. The world watched. Slowly, trembling, Max walked toward him. Leo turned away, tears filling his eyes. Max reached Daniel. Then, Max looked into his eyes and saw nothing. No warmth, no regret, no love, just emptiness. Daniel grabbed the leash and pulled. Max resisted. Daniel pulled harder, and in that moment, Max made his choice. With every ounce of strength, he broke free. He sprinted, full speed, toward Leo. Leo fell to his knees, arms open. Max crashed into him, crying, shaking, tail wagging wildly. For the first time in years, the crowd erupted. Daniel stood frozen, exposed, alone. Because loyalty isn't about who you wait for. It's about who waits with you. Leo officially adopted Max. Max finally had a home. A warm bed, a backyard, laughter, peace. He slept curled beside his red toy, safe, loved, and home at last. At the airport, staff placed a small plaque that read, "For Max, a symbol of loyalty and love." Max waited 731 days for someone who never looked back. But in the end, he found someone who never walked away. Thank you for watching. If you want more true stories of heroic dogs, subscribe to Paws of Valor, like this video, and share it with someone who believes loyalty still matters. And tell us below, if you were Max, how long would you wait?